The next guest for my show, Susan Mell, is currently a regional developer and multi-unit franchisee owner with the Entrepreneur's Source, a business and franchise coaching company. Her background includes 30 years of business ownership experience, and Susan has her master's in social work administration and is passionate about helping people achieve their dreams of self-employment. Susan, welcome to the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. So this is a new topic for me. I wasn't familiar with the Entrepreneur's Source or e-Source. Talk to me about what this is.
Well, I appreciate that question because I'm in a very unique space that I'm a franchisee owner, and my role as a franchise coach is to help clients discover franchise options they may not discover on their own. So what's unique about it is I'm not asking any of my clients to consider a business opportunity in franchising that I haven't considered myself. So I currently am a multi-unit owner. I own 8 franchises with the Entrepreneur's Source, helping people for free to explore their options in self-employment and franchising. And the reason my services are free is if my client goes forward with an opportunity that I recommend, we do get paid by the franchisor, but the good news is it never gets added to their investment. And the value is to help clients narrow down. There's 4,000 franchises in 80 different industries, and help them narrow down to the ones that best meet their criteria, risk level, if you will, and investment range. And most importantly, helping them to discover options they wouldn't consider because people tend to look at what they know and familiar with. That makes sense. So the value of a franchise coach is to help them look at opportunities that they wouldn't have considered but would still help them to achieve their goals. And that was my experience as a client. I had a business before this for 17 years. I was in the wireless business, and I had 4 stores and 42 employees, and after 17 years I sold the business and was looking at franchises partly to decide what I was going to do next, but I didn't really consider that I was going to be a franchisee. I thought it might just give me a good idea of what I wanted to do next. And here I am 14 years later, owning 8 franchises and helping people in Tampa as well as throughout the country explore their options, and also help with financing as well.
Okay. Talk to me about some of the different business opportunities that are available right now in the Tampa Bay market in the franchising business, and also, more about, why different, potential business owners would utilize a coach in this space.
Well, both great questions, and I get that asked a lot about what franchise. And what's interesting, I can name different franchises, and actually I promote different franchises. And when people respond to those promotions, when they start exploring them, they start looking at other things as well, so they can do a comparison and contrast. And it's interesting that 95% of my clients that go forward with a franchise go forward with something different than they initially were interested in, because that's our human nature, right, to look at what we know and what we like. But a couple of, I made some notes because I always anticipate that question. And
right.
Mobile storage and moving is very popular. We're a society of stuff and relocating or making changes in our life. So mobile storage and moving, we have a very unique concept that, as a matter of fact, the first mobile storage to ever go into Manhattan. No other mobile storage like pods, but it's different than pods, so they were able to get approval to go into Manhattan. Elder home service, obviously that's a big category. People wanting to stay in their homes, not wanting to go into assisted living facilities or nursing homes. One of the more popular ones that I've been working with is exterior commercial and residential restoration. Particular company works with national insurance companies when people have storm damage, and they come and get their storms, their roofs and their gutters and windows, and sort of ties into the previous presenter. But it's really become where people can get in that industry without experience and be able to have the processes and systems in place in the national accounts. And, of course, sales businesses are a big category. I like to work with service-based businesses. I think that one of the biggest myths is that you have to spend a lot of money to make a lot of money, and that franchises are expensive. But service-based businesses are anywhere from $35,000, no more than $150,000, and I hope we'll get a chance to talk a little bit about a special financing program that's available for that. But sales business can be custom sign manufacturing, advertising, training. Children's services are really popular. Things like tutoring, fundraising for schools. Actually, we have a new franchise that's teaching babies to swim, which was very fascinating to me because I was wondering how they did it, and it was how do babies learn to swim, but before they even walk, so that's fascinating.
Does the Entrepreneur Source work with any of the national franchises, like a Subway or something like that, or is this strictly the lesser-known franchises or things like that? Tell me a little bit more about that. I'm trying to learn a little bit more.
Yes, absolutely. We work with brand names, companies. People think of food. Food is actually only 10% of all the franchises out there, but that's what we see and experience ourselves every day, so we think of that. Companies like Subway and McDonald's and Burger King, they don't need companies like ours. They have more inquiries than they can handle, and
right.
probably turning more people away than get awarded a franchise. But we do work with some name brands. One of the more popular ones that people are going to be surprised, but we work with Expedia Cruise Ship Centers, which actually sell more cruises and travel through their brick-and-mortar centers than they do off their website. So that's obviously a brand name people know. Amco Transmission is very popular, and Mako is another one, just to name a couple in automotive that people might be familiar with. But there are some that are national that have been around longer than Subway that we consider a brand name. But if you not needed their services, you wouldn't necessarily think of them. For example, what comes to mind is ServPro. They do the interior restoration when you have water or fire damage in your home. They're a national company, been around a long, long time, but you wouldn't know them unless you had that kind of a damage in your home.
And I want to circle back around to the cost to the client. You're saying that there is no cost to the client. Am I correct? And you're getting paid, or the coach is getting paid by the franchisor or the franchisee, whichever ending I need to put on there. But talk to me a little bit more about the cost again.
I know it's hard to understand. I get that a lot. The free service, right? How can you be free? But we actually, our value is more of a referral source and to recommend and help narrow down the franchise that would be a good fit. And so we do get paid by the franchisor, and the reason it's added to their investment is we actually get a percentage of the franchise fee. But the franchise fee is the same whether they were to use our service or to find them on their own. Unless they're a veteran, then we also can assist with them getting a discount through the vet friend program, and that's the only time the franchise fee could be reduced. But yeah, there's actually no cost whatsoever. I know people don't believe it, like it's too good to be true, but it is real. And the reason behind it is that our clients that we're recommending to take a look at these different companies would not ever consider it on their own. So we're bringing them educated and qualified potential franchisees that would have never considered them without our services. So we create great value for the different companies that we recommend, and obviously they have to have very high success rates, and in my world I like to see unique niches, how they can differentiate themselves in their market. But there's plenty of opportunity, and of course the economy is turning around, and that's making people feel more confident about getting into business.
Now, you had mentioned some special financing options available in one of the niche areas. Tell me about some of the financing options that are available in this space.
My favorite subject, because that's one of the things I like to talk about in the very first contact with the client, because I think that's one of their biggest concerns, and rightfully so. Up until last year, we didn't have a financing program outside some of the standard ones, which we'll talk about, for anything below $150,000. They came out with the SBA Express program, which is a government-backed program that guarantees for the banks if the loan defaults a certain percentage. But the SBA Express is up to $150,000, no collateral. It's basically based on your credit score has to be 680 or better, and it's a 10-year loan, and you can pay it off early with no prepayment penalty, and it only requires 11% down, and it will cover the franchise fee, the working capital you'll need for the first year, and a salary to pay yourself during the ramp-up time. And the interest rate is only 6%. And for something that's basically no collateral, technically unsecured, that's a pretty good program. Unfortunately, I haven't found any local banks that do it. We go through funding banks, and they're not located here in Tampa, but we help to identify those banks for our clients. But hopefully after today's radio show, maybe a couple bankers are listening. They'll pick up on the SBA Express program, because I think it's a great opportunity to not only for them to get business, but these businesses grow and then can qualify for more of the conventional loans as they become more successful.
Well, it definitely sounds like you're a great resource for information. A lot of information coming out here in just this short segment. I got to take a quick break, but coming back from the break, I want to talk to you a little bit more about how you coach potential business owners on whether or not business ownership is for them, and also some more business opportunities in and around the Tampa Bay region. We're talking with Susan Mell, regional developer with the Entrepreneur Source, here on That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
Are you looking for a local real estate firm that knows the market and has your interests in mind? Then contact Jim McPeak at McPeak Real Estate Firm, a family-owned business whose agents have over 60-plus years of experience in the Tampa Bay market. Many of the agents are military veterans that know the VA process for buying a home and are proud to help our military members in any way they can. From residential to commercial real estate, McPeak Real Estate Firm is here to help. Contact Jim at 813-495-3875 and learn more at McPeakTeam.com.
Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage want you to experience the thrill of one-day underwriting and the comfort in knowing your loans will be clear to close in record time. While the competition looks to a lost closing date, Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage focus on their 12-day clear to close. They do this by utilizing their world-class operations staff to underwrite your loan within 6 hours, process your loan in 12 days, and have your loan closed in time. Underwritten in 6 hours, cleared to close in 12 days. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage.
Hey there, it's Lynn Wise, the founder of Wise Business Advisors and Contractor Business Alliance. I am a certified value builder advisor, and I help business owners build a company that will allow them to have the business that they dreamed of when they started. Why did you go into business for yourself? I'm sure it was not to work 100 hours a week with no work-life balance and no financial freedom. What am I talking about? I'm talking about building a business that provides value to you and your family now and in the future. You can learn about the 8 essential areas of a business that you must build to have a business that can be an asset for your future. Go to wisebusinessadvisors.com and take the Value Builder score. It is free and will deliver your score immediately on how you are doing on building a valuable business for you and your family. Or call me at 772-834-8513 to learn more about the Value Builder system.
In the market for a reverse mortgage? Contact Access Reverse, a local company with personalized service in the Bay Area. Call them at 727-347-0305 or visit accessreverse.com for a no-cost, no-obligation consultation. They'll come to your home and speak with you about the best options for your reverse mortgage. Plus, they offer the lowest closing costs. Don't just get a reverse mortgage. Get the right reverse mortgage with Access Reverse. Visit accessreverse.com. NMLS number 4566. Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
This report is brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. Advance Auto Parts introduces Speed Perks Rewards Program. Spend $100 and get $20 off your next qualified purchase. No cards, no points, no nonsense. See details online at advanceautoparts.com.
From the Bright House Network's Traffic Center.
275 northbound, very heavy as you approach the pier, heading all the way to 54th Avenue North. I'm seeing delays also from the Howard Franklin up to Memorial Highway. Southbound is slow from Fletcher into Sly and I-4 into Howard, Armenia. Look out for delays for a crash on State Road 56 at the 75 southbound entrance ramp and Bryan Dairy Road just west of Starkey and Largo. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Utica Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
Today, a 70% rain chance with heavy downpours possible from mid-morning to mid-afternoon, high 82. Tonight, scattered rain, low 72. Tomorrow, a 50-50 chance of rain, high 84.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 WINS WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
Welcome back to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Again, I'm battling a cold here, so I'm wanting to cough here, and it's thrown off my flow. So if I sound a little different this morning, that's why. So please forgive me having a little bit of a rough morning. Hopefully I'll get better throughout the day, and hopefully back in here again tomorrow as well. Again, you're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney. Keep in mind you can find the show on here weekdays at 8 a.m. on 1250 WHNZ, and also learn more about the show over at TampaBayRadio.com. Currently talking with us, Susan Mell. She is a regional developer with the Entrepreneur Source. And on the last segment, Susan, we were talking about some different business opportunities in the area and the ways people can utilize your services as a coach to get into the franchise business. But a key area of concern is whether or not business ownership is right for people. Talk to me a little bit about how you assist people and some tips and tools that you can give people to let them know if business ownership is even right for them.
Well, that's the big key. I think we believe that 75% of people want to be self-employed, but only 5% are ready, willing, and able. So part of our free educational experience is to help not only those 5% that are interested, but also that 70% to provide them a safe space so they can gather the information and actually not make any decisions, just to be open-minded and willing to learn new things. And as you get more information, it'll either draw you forward towards considering self-employment, and of course with franchising, they provide the initial and ongoing training and the support system, and already have a business model that works, so you're basically learning how to, what to do and how to implement it. So it's more of a comfortable way to get into business for many people. For me, after being a business owner for 17 years and then becoming a franchisee, it allowed me to change industries, which is very difficult to do. Most people, if you start a business, it's usually something that you've done before for somebody else, or you're familiar with it. But in my case, I wanted to get out of communication, so franchising allowed me to get into a different industry. But it allows people to be able to learn all about it, to be able to talk to the franchisees, to learn what it takes to be successful, how to get customers, and what you need to do to create your own unique niche in your own business and carve out your space. And what's interesting is that a lot of people want to go nationally. And of course, I work with clients all over the country, not just here in Tampa Bay. But a lot of the franchises allow people to stay locally. So a lot of my clients have been traveling a lot for their jobs, like the fact that they get to stay locally and develop and relationships within the community. And one thing I want to be sure to discuss in talking about business ownership, no matter what age you are, there's facts that were derived from the U.S. Department of Labor and Kauffman Foundation report on youth entrepreneurship that might surprise your listeners about millennials in business. Because when I heard these statistics, it surprised me. So, what's a good age to start a business? Well, maybe this will answer the question. 54% of the nation's millennials either want to start a business or already have started one. 54%.
Wow, that's surprising, yes.
And what the next statistic is the most surprising, 68.6% of the teenagers interviewed wanted to become entrepreneurs. Now, I wonder if that had anything to do with Zuckerberg and Facebook, but I think
right.
That's fascinating. That I know when I was in high school, I wasn't thinking about owning my own business, and now that almost 69% of teenagers, that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I believe we're in a kind of an entrepreneurial shift. I say a revolution sometimes, but I definitely have noticed over the last 10 years a more of a demand and for people to be just their own boss. I don't know what you experienced. I mean, what do you think of when I say that?
Well, what's happening, if some of the people are being forced to a certain extent, we call it the new career economy. People are aging out of the job market, and unfortunately, if you're 50 or older and you don't want to relocate, or even if you're willing to relocate, sometimes you've got too much experience. My clients tell me they've been overly well compensated. These companies don't want to match their compensation. But when you're 50 and older, you start aging out of the job market, and I feel that retiring now at 65, for many people, they don't want to do that. I mean, my father's 88 years old, still working part-time, so retiring at 65 is 23 years of unemployment. How do you save enough money to retire that long, and what would you do with your time? So many people are looking at starting a business for something to do, but as well as to help finance our longevity, because if my dad's 88, I probably live to be in my 90s, so it's going to take a lot of money to continue to live the lifestyle that many of us wanted to continue to live. But I think most importantly, my main goal in helping clients is to help them find something that they would enjoy doing every day, that they can be excited about. Then I feel that people say, well, I'll work as long as I enjoy what I'm doing, and I think that's really key.
Now, how do your services work? Is this a weekly consultation? Do you meet over the phone? How do the meetings transpire?
If they're locally, I meet them in person. Since I work with clients all over the country, a lot of us are used to, conference calls and phone meetings. I use Skype as well. But yes, I work with them each week. We take one step at a time, start with 3 different industries and 3 different business models with 3 different investment ranges, so they can do a comparison and contrast, sometimes call it going on 3 blind dates and then deciding if you want to go on a second date or not. But we have a weekly call and review what they've discovered and what they liked about what they're hearing, and helping them develop their criteria, as well as help them discover what I call priceless possibilities. What other opportunities that might provide them that they hadn't considered? And lifestyle is a big key. But I want to share with you that the 3 reasons to own a business, and many people are surprised by that, but by what I'm going to share with you. But the first one is really to grow a business where you have something you can sell, an appreciating asset. That's not important to a lot of people, but when you start thinking through that process, as well as, do you want to have your children involved? Do you want to leave a legacy? What are some of your goals besides what is the business? What will it look like 5 or 10 years from now when you go to sell it? What do you want to achieve there? The second is lifestyle. I feel if you're working all the time and you don't have time to be with your family and friends, I don't know if that would be considered a successful business in my eyes. I think you can have that work-life balance, and a lot of people are considering, wanting that because they've worked so much in their corporate positions. And the third is the money. I think a lot of people feel that the money is important, but if you don't have the first 2, it's not necessarily going to make you happy, because money, I've talked to a lot of clients who have corporate positions making a lot of money, and they're not happy because they're missing the other 2 pieces.
Well, hey, great interview. Susan, I got to wrap it up, but what's the best way people can get in touch with you for some more information in this space?
Thank you so much for asking. My phone number is 813-862-0218. Again, that's 813-862-0218. 0218, and my website is www.franchisematch.com/SAMELL.
Okay, and we got that up on. Thank you, Susan, and we got that up on the streamcast on the video. So if you're watching us online, you'll see all that information on her show card, and we'll get that up on the show recap as well over at TampaBayRadio.com. And again, thanks to Susan for taking some time out of her morning to talk to us. You've been listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, and keep in mind you'll find this show on here weekdays at 8 a.m. on 1250 WHNZ. So please tune in each and every morning to That Business Show and learn more about the show over at TampaBayRadio.com. Have a great day, everybody. I will see you back in here tomorrow morning on That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
The opinions, viewpoints, and promises made during the preceding program are not those of WHNZ AM, its staff, management, or